Sorry. Fixing inconsistencies with my rant. This is how his arms are in the movie. Sorry about that, wasting like 3 minutes of your life over these. But this is how they were in the movie. But again, my point still stands. His arms are overstuffed. Because his arms really they're really flimsy in the movie. And like, they tend to hang around his side just that little much during play. And again with the vest, it's terrible. Another thing I really wish they did was like stitch the scarf bandana thing into place, because in the movie it is loose, but not loose enough to keep turning around while Andy's playing with him. And like, that's probably just an aftermath of the animation, but like, again, he's the hat. It always bothers me because this is not his hat. This is the worst thing I've ever played with. It's so, like, for play, I'm fine with it. Like, a kid's gonna pick this up, they're gonna, like, squish it, they're gonna step on it. But due to the fact that it doesn't stay on his head, it just falls off. And a kid is not gonna like that. They're just gonna have to glue it in, and then they'll, like, remove half the play features of being able to take off his hat. And another thing is that they can't easily remove his badge. It's a minor complaint, and I really wish it wasn't this giant fucking, like, nub, because now his vest doesn't sit right on him. It's always, like, sticking up a little bit, which I really feel like they should have made a bigger vest. Like, the vest is technically big enough to go all the way in and stitch it in, because that way kids, they really wouldn't have to worry about it. And another thing I noticed, this is technically misplaced. His ring is a little bit higher around his around right here between his shoulder blades, basically, and the ring itself is much smaller in comparison. It's about the size of Andy's finger. And I honestly wish this really did have better quality control, and I really wish the arms weren't so stuffed, but I understand that part for durability. They don't want kids feeling like their toy's cheap, but it's not a plaything. It really doesn't feel like one. Back to Buzz and his glow-in-the-dark abilities. I found that if you shine a light to him, he tends to glow just that little bit brighter. So you can really see, he glows absolutely magnificently if he's been under a direct light. And, like, he looks beautiful. This is a purchase I do not regret. Every single green bit, including the collar, glows. And I just love this attention to detail compared to the really crappy Woody. Like, this was the special edition. Like, $20 extra. And I feel like it's well paid for it due to the fact that it's got glow-in-the-dark, it's got the really cool special box, and
hasta el infinito y más allá.
Spanish. But and the fact that it's also got Andy on the foot, like, I really feel bad that Toy Story 4 is out, because the third movie was a perfect end to the trilogy. Now people are having to go out of their way to get proper Andy dolls, Andy branded Toy Story toys, and they'll probably have to go to, like, the official Disney store, because, like, in the parks, because I don't know if they've changed those to Bonnie yet. They might have. I didn't check, because you can't see their feet while they're on display. But I don't like it, because the special edition is what the proper Buzz should be. Like, I'm fine if it came in a blue box, but it's the fact that this is the special edition. The more accurate, the more Buzz-like Buzz, and it's still got so many inconsistencies. Like, I'll rain my praises over it any day. But the inconsistencies are kind of pointless. Like, I'm fine with the not made in Taiwan and the not changing stuff, because that's fine, but, like, where is it? I expect better quality control, and I was playing with this earlier, and I had this weird, just terrible looking paint job on my Buzz. Where is it? It's on this arm, right here. See that? That's paint that came off. That's either came off, or they were just too lazy to fix it when they put it on. And, like, I'll trade this damn karate chop action any day for proper moving arms. Like, I wish this was proper moving. No, you can only move this in and out. It's not articulated at any point. You can't move this in and out or this. Proper articulation. Like, I'd be fine if this didn't bend on this arm, but it's only this. Not even, like, that, but this arm can turn. And, like, you don't have to tell me, like, oh yeah, it's got... But that's also inaccurate, and if they can have this do that, they really can have this arm pivot, and it slightly pivots as well. And I really wish this, like, fully pivot. It didn't have to fully pivot. It could have, like, a stop where it goes certain amounts. But it doesn't. And it's really... It's the fact that these figures are just so bad. Like, people pay a premium price for accurate Toy Story toys, which should be the things on sale. But it's the fact that you have to you have to pay $20 extra for a slightly more accurate Buzz with Spanish, and it's not even all that accurate. I'm really miffed about this damn laser. That is not Buzz's laser. And anyone who's watched Toy Story knows that's not Buzz's laser. Like, I can get over the jetpack, I can get over the not made in Taiwan, but I can't get over the laser and this damn Woody. Because these aren't...
My name's Woody. You're my favorite deputy. Yeehaw, cowboy.
That's not a line.
There's a snake in my boot. Oh.
It's got like 5 lines. In only like 3 of them are movie lines. Like accurate Woody doll lines. And this vest is not nearly long enough. I feel like it should be longer. It should be wider so it comes in and like right next to these buttons, maybe around here. Because that would be the perfect Woody. And honestly, this leg is still unforgivable. It's the fact that it's not even the Andy leg. Like, I'd be fine if it was the Andy leg, because these boots are like, oh yeah, they have 2 different boots so that they can have Andy on one. But, like, it's the fact that I can never have my Woody stand straight with his leg like this. It's always going to be bent. Piece of trash. But still. It's bad. Don't buy it. If you can find an older Woody doll on eBay that's inaccurate, buy it. Because these two don't even stand at the right movie height. Because Buzz comes down to like right here, somewhere around here, and this... I might be wrong on this, but I don't think they stand at the correct movie height. And it especially looks really awkward because of fucking Woody over here in his derp-ass face. I wish I could go back and return this, but I can't because I threw away the box and I don't know where the receipt is. But it's the fact that this face got past Disney. And that little paint job, it doesn't bother me because everyone slips up just that little bit every now and again. But this is terrible, unforgivable, and it's so bad. It honestly feels like a proper cash grab from Disney. Because kids are going to be carrying this around the park, and the hat's going to fall off, and they're never going to find it again. So the parents are either going to have to buy a new Woody, or just live without the hat, or find one like on eBay or something. And that eBay hat's going to be way better, because this is what his hat should be. Nice, sticking up quite a bit, stays on his head properly, and is the correct color. His freaking... His holster should be a little bit down more as well, because Woody's holster is like free-flowing. This one's kind of... It feels like it's glued in, honestly. His holster is always moving. I have no more words. It's a bad figure. Don't buy it. Stupid bandana. This is the thing that I don't like about Disney. What they've done to Star Wars is the reason I'm not watching the 9th movie. What they've done to... Like, Incredibles 2, don't get me wrong, it's a great Pixar movie. I just feel like it wasn't needed. Because, like, Toy Story 4 and Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 ended on the perfect note. Like, Toy Story 3 didn't really need to happen, but with how good of an ending it was just, yeah, it was like, oh yeah, Andy's grown up, Andy's moved on. But Toy Story 4, I haven't watched it, but the only thing I can think about it is that why does it need to exist? Ignore the Mavericks, sure, I'm not a fan of the Mavs. But it's like, it didn't need to exist, because Toy Story 3 was a perfect ending. Bonnie was happy, she was taking care of Woody. But at the beginning of Toy Story 4, she basically wasn't. He left him in the closet, and it was like, I don't understand that. And, like, she promised to take care of Woody, and if you watch the Toy Story shorts, yeah, she takes care of Woody. But Toy Story 4 just goes back on that promise that she made to Andy. And like, this feels like that Woody. The mistaken care of Woody that hasn't even been branded to Bonnie. I don't like what Disney's doing with a lot of things these days. And it's honestly a corporate cash grab at this point. This shitty Woody doll and all the new Star Wars movies, they're just so devoid of anything that made them good. And like some of the Pixar movies that came out recently, like The Good Dinosaur, like, it's arguably bad. The Incredibles 2 is probably one of the worst in my opinion, because it didn't need to exist. Like, the plot was amazing, but it's just, it didn't need to exist, because The Incredibles left off on a perfect note. Like, oh yeah, superheroes are great and all, but like, it didn't feel like they were fighting as a family. It felt like it was them arguing at the beginning, and I really do feel like these, along with what Disney's been doing, like with all the stupid live action shit, it's ruining them for me. And like, I grew up on Disney, and all of this that's like these really bad toys that are being sold for basically prices of a game. I could buy so much stuff with how much they're charging for all this stuff. And unless Disney changes and like their toys get better, things get better, and they stop charging so much, honestly, like, they're not in my good list at the moment with what they've done to like a lot of my beloved childhood franchises. Basically, grew up on Toy Story. Toy Story 4 did not need to exist. Grew up on Star Wars. The new Star Wars movies don't need to exist. Like, they're welcome. Solo, Rogue One, those are good. But they just contradict a lot of stuff that was made before. Like, we didn't need to know that Han Solo had a love thing going on before, like a childhood love interest, because she's never brought up. But honestly, this is really more of a jab at Disney at the moment. But they need to pull themselves out of the gutter, because I bought, back there on that shelf is here, I'll get it. I put this on my shelf because it's expensive. But these are reissues of the original 1930, what's its face? It's the, Charlotte Clark original figures. And this box is so bad. There's no support on the middle, so it immediately started caving in. You can see the sort of bend lines you get from the fact that it's caving in. And the box is just in such terrible quality. And the only thing worth buying for this is the dolls, which no one's gonna take out. Like, I saw this on the shelves. It was price dropped from $90 to $50. That scratched it really easily. It was price dropped from $90 to $50, and it's it's honestly because no one's buying anything because of how bad it is. Like, these are technically inaccurate to the original Charlotte Clark because they had whiskers. These don't have whiskers. And what I don't like is that they're held in with fucking zip ties around the necks and shit. So if you ever want to take these out, you're gonna have to cut it, and then they can never go back in with like a string that can hold them in, because they're just eternally zip tied. It's the stuff that Disney doesn't consider, that while it may seem minor, it's just major things in the eyes of collectors. Because they're charging for stuff that hasn't been seen in like 70, 80 years. And stuff that's just so great. Like, you can't go wrong with Woody, but they have. You can't go wrong with Buzz, but they have. I mean, I'm pretty sure Buzz figures never had karate chop action before, but that's probably just my personal experience. And I love the karate chop action, but it takes away from just the posability factor of Buzz, because you can really only have him in like standard superhero action pose, and that's about it. And Woody, he's always like this. You can't like sit him down because his arms get in the way. You can't fold these in because they're too stuffed and they won't come out. They'll just come out from what they've done. Like these little pads right here should be flat. All the connecting joints should be flat, not stuffed, because then it's always in the state of under pressure, and that's basically what's happened to this foot to make it go out like this. It's it's terrible design. And the thing is, Disney's not going to listen to these complaints because they've got better things to do than listen to some 15-year-old complaint on the internet. But all of this should have been released better. Like, they honestly should have done so much better with everything that they're making. We bought family bought $200 purses, $250 purses that are about the size of like a roll of duct tape, just about. Like 2 rolls of duct tape next to each other. And it's a lot of money to spend on such a small thing. And it's just really bad quality stuff as well, because the straps are incredibly skinny. And it's... what they're doing at the moment is cash grabbing. Everyone loves Disney, but they're cash grabbing. And people acknowledge that, they're just not bringing it up. What started off as a little rant against Toy Story has honestly gone off against Disney, because the characters in their movies are so devoid of proper human emotion. Because, to bring up Last Jedi, it's a dead horse that's been beaten way too many times, but Finn changes from Force Awakens to Last Jedi, and it's a change that is just so apparent. Because in the first movie, he was like, he was a defect. He ran away, and he was a janitor. He knew what it's like to be basically working for higher ups and doing all their shit and cleaning up all their shit. But like, he and then in the second movie, he's like, oh yeah, they're gonna hurt for this, but they're not gonna hurt. It's gonna be the lower people, janitors and shit, that are gonna hurt. And things are being ruined at the moment, and I'm attributing it to Disney. What I feel is that Disney has really lost its focus since the early 2000s. With all these purchases of different just properties, like, it was unnecessary, and it's honestly just to make cash. Because I go to Hollywood studios, and all I can do is just sit there and watch as every 30 minutes the Star Wars show goes off. I can only sit there and watch as my park, the parks I grew up with, sections of them are just cut off entirely to make way for another Star Wars thing. And it's like, yeah, Galaxy's Edge is gonna be cool, but is it worth losing all that stuff that was originally there? It's it's honestly saddening to me to see the backlot tour at Hollywood Studios just gone, and the great movie ride gone. And I just wish things were better, but they can't be because they won't listen. They won't listen to me. They won't listen to complaints because, like, they've listened. They've truly listened with a couple of things, but they're just pulling in too many bad things to really not make up for those good things that the bad things overweigh the good things. And honestly, everything that they're doing now, it's honestly a cash grab. Galaxy's Edge, a cash grab. Toy Story 4, a cash grab. And I can't approve. Especially with the re-release of Endgame. Like, everything that was re-released with it should have came out on the DVDs, which is, like, coming out next month. So, that's honestly, just to get it, a higher box office than Avatar. And Disney owns Avatar. So, I can't. This has been a 31 minute, 32 minute rant if you watch the original. So, yeah. Sorry for wasting your time.